Yeah, we're here. We're here. I see your Q&A.
Yeah. Are we there yet? Yes.
Yes, we're there. We're
Please
here. You're there.
Click a button. I started the broadcast, but it doesn't think I did. To stop a broadcast.
I see the little live box on my screen.
Yeah, but I can't click the Q&A.
I know what I need to do.
The Googles hate us tonight.
There's Google issues tonight. The Googles are not pleasant. The Googles are not
Google's
pleased with us. Apparently, we hit 100 shows, and the Googles said, "You're done."
Wait. There you go. And IHAM, nice intro. I like that.
Yes, very good, very good.
3 hams in a row may be done with his cold brewski by now,
He might be.
but I bet he can get another.
They tend to come in groups.
Really? Like herds?
Something like that.
I heard. They come
I've heard.
in groups. See how I did that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not much, but it's what I got.
So apparently the show tonight is all American. The Canadians having trouble connecting, although Wet Coaster's in the Q&A, so not all Canadians have been banned from the
I've
Hangout.
seen this show before. Where's the real Hangout?
But the
And Doramore, poor Doramore, she doesn't know what to do.
I know. One time she's a live guest. We weren't live hosts.
That was a hard show to be on. Doramore, you did a great job.
Yeah.
My puppet is right here.
Oh, there he is. Look at that. Let's see. Where's my friend? My friend's hanging over here. There he is.
And I think there's some issues at Monkey HQ. There might be some monkeying around.
Land problems at
He has
Land monkeys at land problem at Land Monkeys?
Yeah.
yeah. Somebody has monkeyed with the Land Monkeys Googles. He was in earlier, guys. He really was here. We saw his face and talked to him. And 3 hands in a row is just hang out. It'll be all right.
I was going to say, we're going to lose half our audience if Land Monkey doesn't show up.
Half, 90%, I think.
Of those that watch live, I think it is.
Well, you know, it was Canada Day yesterday, as I tweeted, and happy Canada Day a day late to all of my friends up north.
Yeah.
So maybe their Google connections in Canada just took holiday.
Oh, are they on holiday?
They could be. The U.S. holiday is coming up, hence my tribute over my right shoulder to the Independence Day celebrations this weekend, where we celebrate our independence by blowing up our own neighborhoods and blowing our fingers off and all kinds of other ridiculous habits. But
we fought a war so we can launch our own explosives.
That's right.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Well, as much as I hate to go on without the Canuck, it is 7 after.
Yeah.
And perhaps he will resolve some of his issues and be able to pop in and join us. Thank you for that, 3 M's and R's. And Browling says we're riveting entertainment.
Why wouldn't I watch weekly?
Right.
Okay, well, Wits End, you start off the show. I'm going to play some music, and I'll hit record, and we'll make it like a real podcast. If we're ready, here we go.
And welcome to Caching in the Northwest, the only podcast dedicated to geocaching in the great Pacific Northwest. Tonight we'll talk about caches and cachers unique to this little corner of the country, so put on your black socks and black tennis shoes. It's time to go caching in the Northwest.
That's right. Hello, listeners and viewers. And if you didn't know, you can watch us live every week and get some of the riveting entertainment that our live Q&A we're talking about earlier.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much for joining us for, this is fun to say, episode 101 of
Ooh,
Caching.
101, 101. Binary 5.
Tonight, hi Binary 5. Tonight we are fortunate to be joined by Dudley Grunt of OpenCaching North America. Now, normally at this point we introduce our Canadian co-host, but there's some monkey business happening at Land Monkey HQ with the lands and such.
Yeah,
So,
it happens to the best of us, and thankfully there's at least two of us hosts and a guest tonight, so I don't have to talk for half an hour straight. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, and go back and play episode 95.
oh, sometimes the Googles hate us.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, thanks Dudley Grunt for coming on the show tonight. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me again. I'm glad to be here. Sorry I missed out on the 100th episode last week.
If you didn't watch it on YouTube, you really need to go back and watch it. I mean, the episode in the recording is going to be fine, but we did a little trickery that makes it a little more fun to watch.
Okay, cool.
Something special.
But now you've been with us before, right?
Yes, a couple episodes a while back.
Way back way back when we were just doing double digits.
Yeah.
Like
The old
12
days.
and 32,
32,
right?
yeah.
Well, we should have saved you for the next episode so you could have done 102.
Oh,
That
yeah.
There you go.
That way there's a theme. Well, listeners and
Okay.
those who watch, you know we love hearing about your favorite caches and caching locations right here in the Northwest. But we like it in your own voice. So each week on our podcast, we ask that you send in your favorite caches, and hopefully from your favorite caching location. But when we have a guest on the show, we ask them to share. So, Dudley Grunt, what is your favorite Northwest cache?
Well, unfortunately, I've not been out to the Northwest to go caching, so I definitely want to get out there, and obviously, get out here and hit the big three caches, and including the replacement 8 cache, as I still just kick myself because I missed finding the 8 cache that was in Maryland by about a week or so. I found out about it in like August 2006, my first event. I was trying to coordinate with my uncle who'd gotten me into caching. He worked night shifts and stuff, trying to work out with him. By the time we got together, it had been muggled and was gone.
Ugh.
It's like,
Yeah.
last time I coordinate with you, I told him, next time I have a cool cache, I'm just going.
Just go on your own. There you go. You learn that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been.
Now I gotta go to Brazil.
Yeah. Well, if you go, let me know. I'll go with you. I can
Yeah.
figure out a way to get there.
One day,
But it
man.
is frustrating, and it's always disappointing when those great caches, any cache, gets muggled and gets archived. But, if you make it out here to the Northwest, we've got some great caches, and we'll definitely take you along and show you some of our favorites, including the tribute to the ape cache that replaced the original ape cache.
Yep, definitely.
And, listeners, sharing your favorite cache or caching location in the Northwest has just gotten more rewarding. If you record a message from the cache itself, record it from the place the cache used to be. We don't mind where, but we want to hear about those great caches that you're out there finding. Email your audio to us at feedback@cachingnw.com or give us a call. That's 253-693-TFTC, and leave your message there for just 15 seconds, whatever it takes to say your geocaching name, the GC code, and the name of the cache, and of course tell us why you liked it. If we play it on the episode, you will win some very cool swag.
Now, we want to tell you, we say this every week, you're going to win some cool slag. Some cool slag. That's the melted geocoins that we're giving away. No, we threw them in the volcano out here, and now we have... Okay. Let me try this again in English. Every week we tell you that we have some cool swag to give away, and but that doesn't seem to get you guys sending in your favorite caches. So we've had a very generous prize sponsored for the month of June by World Caching. And the winner of that prize, are you ready?
Tell me.
Is Dano of Team Pugach.
Yay!
So, Dano, email us with your postal mailing address, and World Caching will send that prize pack along to you, and we'll make sure it gets out. So thank you very much to Tracy at World Caching for sponsoring our June prize pack. Now, we're in the month of July,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
That,
a little more. I'm sorry, what was that?
you know what that means in July.
Well, it's July, and that means it's time for the geocache road trip.
Hashtag.
Hashtag. So, from July 1st to July 30th, and we've just started, email your photos with the hashtag geocache road trip somehow inserted into them. Email it to geocachingroadtripcontest@gmail.com. And you could win prizes from coinsandpins.com, World Caching, Land Sharks, How to Puzzle Cache, author Cully Long, Munzie, Cache Advance, and the organization represented by tonight's guest, OpenCaching North America.
OpenCaching NA, how awesome. And Dudley Grunt, thank you so much to you and OpenCaching North America for the prize donation to our contest. Are you going to be getting out to enjoy some hashtag geocache road trip caching this summer?
Yes, I have already started doing some of the hashtag road trip stuff. I went on the second day, the first Saturday, and I, instead of just looking for some stuff from some 10 favorite point caches, I decided that wasn't really going to be enough. So I headed out to Berkeley County, West Virginia. It's only about an hour and so drive, to do some of the WVTIM gadget caches and stuff. And when I did like 23 caches and ended up with 3,944 favorite points out of those, but I was like 171.5 on average per cache. And
Wow.
like some of those were just weren't even the gadget caches, so they were not even as high. So I think one of them was up to like 589 points. His widget cache, which was a pretty cool one that the vlogger had featured recently.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a lot of fun. And then I went back out there last weekend and did some more. And going back out this weekend because there's still more I haven't done. So I'm going out with another buddy. And so yeah, a lot of stuff I would do anyway. But it's nice to have some focus and pinpoint for some, your caching. So I enjoy these challenge things.
Yeah, West Virginia Tim has some awesome caches back there. I'm trying to figure out how I can make a trip back east sometime and do a bunch of his caches.
Yeah, I've watched. He has videos on YouTube on how he's made his caches, and they're just fascinating, at least for me to watch. And I gotta, get out to the garage there and start cutting up some wood. I think I can do this myself, and place a cache or two like that out here in the Northwest.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. Make very very special.
So, go ahead.
It looks like Land Monkey has resolved some of the Google issues.
Ah.
By the way, you have some shared camaraderie in the Q&A, Dudley Grunt. Bill Stock says he missed the Washington Ape cache by a week as well. So.
Oh man, yeah. See, we feel each other's pain.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of pain, how is Land Monkey and the issues with the Googles?
Not doing too great, but doing the best I can here with what I've got.
Well, it's good to see you. Hopefully you can hang out for the rest of the podcast.
I'll do my best. It may just be audio only, maybe nothing. All depends upon how my service provider decides to provide service tonight.
Well, let's all hit hashtag Land Monkey service provider and tell them what we think of their impact on our podcast tonight.
Wow. Well, have you guys gone out and been able to hit any geocaches in the last week?
Personally, I've not, but I have been helping the Bad Cop with some geocaching work, and
a big help.
Yeah, we've got cachingNW.com moved to an entire brand new web host. The site's been rebuilt, relocated, and if all goes as we hope it has, nobody out there will ever notice. It's the bane of computer work nowadays that if everything works right, nobody notices. But we hope that it's up and running and happy, and if you notice anything's not, please let us know. And if you notice that the last couple of episodes maybe weren't uploaded in a timely manner, hey, that's all on the Bad Cop. I had nothing to do with that, okay?
I've been waiting for the host move to finish before I put up any more content. So This weekend I had the privilege of moving my parents, so not everything went according to schedule, but they are now happily arranging their stuff into their new place. So that's good. But I did, however, find a cache just today.
Awesome.
As is my habit, I took a friend out on his birthday lunch, and during the conversation mentioned geocaching, and he thought it would be something that his son might enjoy. So looked on the phone, and within 500 feet, there was a cache, and we went to go find it. And this is one of those caches that you want to take a muggle to. It was very well camouflaged.
Awesome.
I walked up and I looked at it and go, I think I know where it is. It's right there. And he was actually looking somewhere else. I said, come back here. Take a look here. He goes, I don't see it. Pull on that. Oh, look at that.
That wasn't
Yeah.
your finger he pulled, right?
Huh?
That wasn't your finger he pulled?
Anyway, I thought it was perfect way to pique the interest for a new convert.
Very cool.
And Dudley Grant, what about you?
Yeah, I guess I kind of mentioned a little bit, but it was mostly I haven't done too much. I did one cache during the week since my WVTM stuff last week, but two of the I have to go. One of the reasons I'm going back this weekend is because it was almost impossible to finish the trail and get a coin that they had. It was a launch of a new trail, but like I got two of the cool coins I'd get for doing the last couple of years caches and or trails. So
Nice.
I mean, it's almost I can't believe that I get a coin for doing these caches of Tim's. It's like I don't. It's almost like getting paid for just finding the best caches out there.
Yeah.
I was
Like,
going
well,
to
I'll
say the
take it, though.
caches themselves are good, and you're getting a coin for
I
doing
know
that.
it's hard to believe. So yeah. So
Nice.
Yeah.
And you've had some bad weather over there, haven't you?
yeah, actually, even it's been some rain this week, and last Saturday we got rained on. Three of us went together. I mean, out, and we got rained on all morning. The event was at 1. The actual kickoff event wasn't until 1, but some of the caches were put out early, so we were doing those in the morning almost through rain. We got lucky though. We were supposed to get thunderstorms in the afternoon, which I wasn't sure if we had to stop for a while or whatever, but it got mostly dry for the afternoon, and we were able to finish up and
We're known for
have a good
the
day.
usually rain out here, but boy, we sure haven't seen any lately. It's been in the 90s all week, and the forecast I saw is in the 90s for the next week at least, and then some.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to be in the 70s at least out towards Martinsburg tomorrow, and probably I guess here, but it should be a little
Wow.
few degrees cooler than here.
That's our kind
Out
of
there.
weather. We've swapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
We
sounds
like-
like
I know the Land Monkeys did a road trip to the Tri-Cities Geocoin Challenge and said they just baked over there. So
Land Monkey, are you with us by chance?
his icon shows muted. Oh, and he's gone again. He's back up
Okay.
again. That's a shame.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they went over and did the Tri-Cities Geocoin Challenge, which I would have loved to have done.
Yeah.
But it was over 100 degrees.
Yeah.
So, wow. I mean, talk about baking. But being the good land monkey that he is, he was able to get some good interviews.
Mhm.
So we will bring that to you next show. We'll talk about the Tri-Cities Geocoin Challenge next week. So you're going to want to listen to that.
And if you
really-
can't wait for that, go over and check out Land Monkey's geocaching adventures on YouTube because he's got some great footage up there too.
That's right.
I assume he has some from the Tri-Cities, but there's
I haven't seen any yet, but they
If not,
won't be
there's
far.
plenty of other good footage up there to watch.
So, geocachers, don't forget to write in or call us and tell us about your geocaching adventures and where you've gone exploring.
Absolutely. And let's close the talk about prizes, chit chat, and other stuff right now. Let's talk about, well, OpenCaching North America. From tonight's guest, Dudley Grunt, who's a specialist and knows all about OpenCaching North America. What can you tell us?
Okay, we are a member of a sort of a community of sites that fall under the OpenCaching umbrella. Generally, are nation-based, or sometimes like we are. We kind of cover North America and a couple countries, but they're each individually run, just volunteers, or they're all free sites. So like I said, we do cover the U.S., Canada, and we have a few caches in Mexico, but it is part of our territory. If folks are listening to this from overseas or whatever, anyone can go to opencaching.eu sort of a portal site, and it'll show you what other sites, for Germany, Poland, UK, and some others, and you can see what's there.
That's amazing.
And, yeah.
There's some great stuff out there. And are those sites all free, or are they paid subscriptions, or?
No, everything, all the services, everything we have on the site is free to all users, and we have the equivalency of pocket queries and searches, and one something I was noticing the other day is like, I knew it, but when I was back over on the caching trying to get ready for this weekend's trip, Groundspeak has a nice search feature, it's a nice new robust search feature, but I couldn't do the search and then like transfer that into like a pocket query and like exactly, because there's still different kind of options.
Oh,
But
sure.
any search you can do on our site, there's links at the bottom. Once you've done the search, you have the results. You can click and either download them as GPX or various formats, and it's nice all together in one thing.
Very
That's
cool.
cool. That's cool. And we can't talk about OpenCaching North America without talking about the specialty caches that you still have, and unique ones that no other site has had.
Yeah.
We still offer the virtuals. We have moving caches, actually as a distinct cache type, webcams, and then we have 3 other types that are either unique to us, or well, I guess actually all 3 are unique to us as far as caches go. Guest book, it's sort of like having a virtual, except that you have a place that actually has a public accessible guest book, and the idea is for the person to get there and may have to answer a question or two, but it's just basically to sign the guest book that's already there. Bit caches are, I call them physical containerless caches. They're usually done as a sticker or a laminated card that has a logging code on it, and usually a QR code that lets you scan and go directly to the web page for the cache. And then we have dead drop caches, which are also USB drive caches, and those are probably our rarest caches on the site. I think when I checked recently, there was only 6 of them active.
Wow.
And I found one locally here and getting ready to put one out for my friend Chaz, who hid the other one a while back, and so I was like, well, I make sure I put one out in the area too.
I've threatened to put one of those out, and I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, they're. I kind of think of them. Sometimes people are a little concerned over them, and kind of think of them as almost like your some of your high terrain caches stuff. It's not for everybody. There's some danger paired. Like I keep a spare old netbook handy. I mean, I've only done one because it's not many, but I do have one, and I've kind of kept that aside. So when I got to do one, basically you're going to plug in your USB stick into the computer and sign the log by adding your name to the text file.
Huh.
So I figured, it's a dedicated system for that. It's a little old netbook. So something word on the stick that someone's come along and put something on there that I can wipe and reload that laptop, or it's basically almost a burner. So just need to be prepared and take certain cautions with them. But they're an interesting. There's a whole website, Dead Drop. I guess it's deaddrop.com. That's a whole movement apart from caching where people do this all over the world. And so our original founder, Jerry, of RV Road Trip, had decided to put that into a cache type and add that to our site.
That's cool.
So there's some different cache types that are either unique to open caching, or have been archived from geocaching. Are there other reasons that a listener to this podcast might be interested to join OpenCaching? I mean, they might be out there saying, why would I want more than one listing site? How do you manage all those different sites?
Well, I know back when I first started seeing that there were other sites, because of course, other than us, there's like Terra Caching and Navicache. They're not just a little older site now, but I just started learning about the other caches, and I thought, well, I want to go find those. Their caches, It's like it's kind of like the subset. Like people say that one of the neat things about caching is that there's all these caches hidden that like people go by all the time and they don't know about. And I kind of saw that like, well, there's all these other caches that even cachers are going by and they don't know about. There's like the secret world of the alternative caching. But apart from just that, you know, I think competition's always good. You know, I think whenever if you're just dealing with one site, a monopoly, there's maybe less reason to look at innovation or changes and stuff. From the time we started in 2010, we had recommendations, and you'd earn one recommendation for every 10 caches you found, and you could give a recommendation to, caches that you thought were extra special. And I meant to look up the date, but it was definitely afterwards that Groundspeak came and had their favorite. So, I'm not sure that they necessarily got the idea from us, but it was exact same structure, and just happened to be, so who knows? Maybe someone saw something and thought, hey, that's a pretty neat idea, and that's great. We're glad. We can be a test bed for different things, and we also allow people to rate every cache that they find on a 5-point scale. So we have different methods for people to look at the caches and see, to filter them out a little bit more on what might be, better caches. We're just a volunteer run thing, so we definitely work close, with our cachers through the process of hiding, whatever, and we have our guidelines. We definitely treat them all as guidelines and not as strict rules. So even our proximity and different things, we can be flexible enough, but we'll look at each case and work with folks. Or if we have a question on a cache, someone submits, and it's just one of the three of us that review it, and kind of like the reviewing, but it's just the three that we do them all. And we'll take a look, and if we have a question, I'll write to the owner and just say, hey, just had a question on this, whatever, and we're not writing to say you can't do that, or we're going to dialogue, and if find out if it was a mistake or if it's doing something on purpose or how that works out, and we'll work with folks for sure. So just it's a different variety in the cache types and just the way we do things, and just variety I think is generally good.
Very cool. And if anybody's in the Vancouver, BC area, I see in the Q&A that Wet Coaster says he has an event listed on OpenCaching for this Sunday afternoon. So
I actually hosted a OC only event this past Sunday. Usually I cross-list most of my events, just as a way to get extra word out. But I had a lot of stuff going on early in June, and I wasn't able to get the full 2-week lead time in to get it on Groundspeak. But it turned out really good. We had 6 of us show up, and had a real nice time at this BurgerFi place, and yeah, and then and I used I'll take my events and I'll through Facebook or Google Plus or through the local forums I promote them. So we had a few people who out of that 6 even that really weren't necessarily regular OpenCaching users, but I was able to get the word out about the event, and then now they have even more of a reason to log it because it was only on OpenCaching. So
There you
go ahead and log it, and just maybe get their first cache, and then maybe they'll continue. So actually, I've had an idea now that I think that maybe instead of cross-listing every cache every month, like every 2 to every 3 months, I'll do an OpenCaching only event, and then the other months have them on Groundspeak or something, maybe, and that way I'll just. And this was the first time I was at a certain location. I moved my events around, and so I thought, well, maybe too, when I do the OpenCaching ones, I'll be at a new place, and maybe at the other ones I'll go somewhere we've been, and that way give someone else an extra incentive to like, oh, well, I haven't been there before. I'll go out to that event because I haven't been to that place before. So it's all good. And thanks, Wet Coaster.
yeah, and I think LandMonkey has been able to stabilize things in LandMonkey HQ and join us back again.
There you go, back on video.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I have. So apologies for missing the first half of the show.
Oh, good.
It was clearly a service provider error. So if anybody who is listening who works for Shaw, you can tell your boss they owe me a beer. And anyways, I guess whoever from Shaw had to probably run out to the central office, which probably overheated given the weather.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Replace a switch or something like that, as we all in the IT community know happens. I appreciate whoever that was that did that, because all of a sudden, magically, everything is working 100% again. So, yes, I'm back. Thank you.
We missed you.
I missed you too.
So, Dudley Grunt, I had the privilege of having OpenCaching North America moving cache for a little bit. I actually handed
Yeah.
it off to Daryl W4 at a large event. But what can folks do to contribute to the growing listings here in the Northwest on OpenCaching North America?
Okay, yeah. Of course, obviously, the only way that any caching site is going to grow is by the folks putting caches out. Um, we definitely do prefer to see the unique caches, as in like not cross-listed caches per se, but sometimes for folks who are new to this site, doing one or two of those and just going through that process is a good way for them to check out and see how we work, just to take maybe a cache that they have. Or look at some of those extra special or the extra cache types that we have that they've always wanted to do a virtual because they've never had opportunity because it's now been years now since Groundspeak's had them or webcam or something. We also have we have two cache types that cover kind of what would be called the unknown type on Groundspeak, because we have actually an unknown type and a quiz type. So if it's actually like a puzzle or something, it falls under our quiz. But our unknown type we have so that we can do caches that maybe don't fit exactly one of our other categories. So if someone has a unique idea, something they'd love to have been able to do, and maybe they've even tried, or maybe they just know it wouldn't really work on whatever other site they might have, we'll work with folks too. And then like we released a number of things recently. We released our own challenge caches that we've been working on for a long time, or at least talking about, not necessarily working on for a long time, but talking about doing, where we have a set of locationless challenge caches. So basically anyone on the site can go and say, okay, I've met that quality, I've found 10 open caches, or I found 25, or I found so many states, whatever. But since we're a smaller site and kind of spread out, like even around here in DC area, we have a handful of folks, but two or three that are really active and some others that are on and off and stuff. So we thought these locationist things would be good. So we have like a dual GeoArt thing going in the Gulf of Mexico to spell out OCNA to start with, and those fall under our unknown because they're different. We don't have a special locationist thing, but they're just site-owned ones. But and of course, even with talking about the challenge caches, got us a lot of attention when we were going through, because a lot of people, it was around the same time that we were ready to launch them, was when Groundspeak had put their moratorium on like the regular challenge caches. And so, we also accept those. Memphis Mafia is one guy who's recently been working on putting out some of his own challenge caches locally out in the Denver area, and he's been working on like hiding the caches of each type and do different things to make some local ones. So that's another thing folks can do here is put out a more over there. And once they do that, just start spreading the word to some of their friends. If they can just get even like one other person to start with to get some stuff out, then they've got some stuff to find. Their other person will have some stuff to find when they put it. And as they start building on each other, and there's more caches in an area, then they'll might attract someone from another area, and who comes in and start helping build the area and growing the map, as they say.
Cool.
Exactly.
Sounds great.
It's called synergy. Once you get enough caches out there one type, people, I can add more.
And and folks who are into it, like me and my buddy Chaz, I'm going out with tomorrow. Is he one that does a lot of the alternative stuff with me? We'll travel once we see a spot that's got a good amount of whether it's open caching or other alternative caches. We've gone up to we went down together. We went down to Charlotte, North Carolina one time. I went once by myself, I think, and then we went together one time because it's a big area, a lot of stuff there, and gone up to Buffalo, and so it's like a draw. Once we see an area building up, it has a lot of stuff.
Fantastic.
Even locally, like if there's one new one out in Western Maryland, I'll get out there, and then I'll do my pocket query on Groundspeak and do a bunch of other caches, but that'll get me to a certain area, and to get started and to get that one cache or that couple caches that have been published, and then get out there and do everything else.
So, Dudley Grant, thanks for your patience with me tonight. Hopefully we haven't already answered this question, but this is really interesting to me. We're all concerned about the quality of the caching experience, and I'm curious if you could share with everybody, how is it that OpenCaching North America can make sure that any of the caches that get placed on that listing service are not right on top of caches from other listing services?
Okay, and we do work on that. We have among our guidelines, we have a 300-foot proximity guideline, and we actually do our best to enforce that between not just our own caches but caches on other sites as best as we can tell. And on our cache site, on our cache pages, there are links. You'll find links to find the nearest Groundspeak caches and TerraCache, Navicache, GPS games, and so especially with Groundspeak is the most common thing, of course. We can click on there and see how close things are. Obviously it's only going to be the coordinates, for the listed coordinates or things that we can actually see, but we do attempt that, and so we'll work with folks. I mean, if it's, obviously even with our own things, if you're 298 feet, we're not going to come back and tell you you have to move that cache 2 feet because that's going to make a real difference in saturation, but because all you do is go out and adjust your coordinates. I'm sure when things come up like that, when someone has to move their cache 2 feet because it's underneath the guideline, they're probably not really moving it 2 feet. They're probably just double checking their coords and saying, oh no, now I get coords that show it's 524 feet. So we will work and or even if it's like, depending on what it is, if we see that there's a cache that's obviously, if it's a virtual, say, on our site, it's not as big a deal. If it's not quite 300 feet from a physical cache that someone's looking for, because the most thing we see is to avoid confusion. We don't want people going out on either site and looking for one cache, finding the other, thinking we've all done that with like letterboxes or stuff, and there was either another site that not really active right now anymore for a while that I even saw folks encouraging people to hide their caches almost on top of another existing caches, but we want to try to avoid that confusion. And if it's really clear that the cache is very different and whatever it is, it can be, we can live with a little shorter distance. But yeah, we also, just as far as the general quality goes, I've always seen that it looks like the folks who kind of go and get involved in the alternative caching site are usually people who've started with Groundspeak because it's just most common. And then it seems like people will kind of self-select a little bit, and like the ones who kind of come and play these games, the other sites are folks who kind of have a little more experience and then have a little better idea what makes a quality cache. So, I think in all I have about 880 caches on sites other than Groundspeak, and I think I've found maybe in all those a few guardrail or lamppost caches, and one was it was a Terra caching site, but it was only a guardrail because they could have made it a virtual. It just happened to be near like a Terra something college or Terra College, and they thought it was neat that they put the Terra caching in there, and they could have done it as virtual, but they just did as the I've found a few, usually I think the sort of average. If you took the better caches, I mean, there's not going to necessarily like all the caches on our site are going to be better than anything else, but I think we just don't necessarily have as many of the kind of lower level newbie kind of caches that people put out when they're starting to learn, because people have had experience usually by the time they get to us.
That's great insight. Sorry, Chris, did you have something you wanted to?
Go right ahead.
I was just going to say that I've recently rolled up my sleeves to do some field research and published a few OCNA caches in my area. And I just thought, thanks, share some experience with that. First of all, I have to say the support from the site admins has been amazing. You guys really, I mean, as you say, I'm a reasonably experienced cacher, so I kind of knew what I was doing, but there's a few things that are different about publishing an OCNA, and the wiki is really well laid out, self-explanatory, and the folks just really helped me through the whole process. As well as going to mention that it's really easy if you're using CGO on your smartphone that you can actually load the geocaching.com listings as well as simultaneously load the OCNA listings on there. So that's a good tip for people who are maybe thinking about getting started but aren't really sure what to do. Load them both up, see what caches are there. So yeah, I'd encourage our listeners to check out the OCNA site and see if there's any caches to find in your area. And third, try creating some of the cool cache types. That's, I was able to create a web cache. I came to the game, or a webcam cache. I came to the game way too late to make a geocaching.com webcam cache, but not if I wanted it on OCNA. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate everybody who hides the caches, of course, and I think I said somewhere else recently. Someone asked about it, and I said, that I'd like to call all of our members are premium members. It's a completely free site, so someone asked about if there were premium features or whatever, and I said, well, they're all premium members. We don't have any plain old members. We really appreciate it. Anyone who's willing to like get out and try to help develop one of our younger site here. We're going to be celebrating 5 years in a couple of months, but still we're it's pretty still young for a site and small. So anyone who's helping to grow that, we definitely appreciate.
That's terrific, though. So let's say people are listening tonight and they like what they've heard. They want to come check out OpenCaching North America. How do they get started? What tips do you have for them? Is there an app for that? Can they use another app for that? LandMonkey mentioned CGO. What other options do they have to get started?
Yeah, CGO has been great. They've expanded their functionality with us over the years, and you used to be able to just look up a cache, but you couldn't see, really log it or anything. And now it's really fully functional. See if you use it, if you're a CGO user, or even if you're not a CGO user but you're on Android and you like a different app for Groundspeak or whatever, it's cool. Then you have a dedicated app through CGO. Could be your dedicated OpenCaching app. And there are various apps. They're all third-party. We don't have a developer, with folks. And actually, I should mention there are other folks. You may know Native Texans from some of the other podcasts. He makes appearances here and there. And Mr. Yuck, Jim, is our other guy up in the Western New York area, and he does a lot of our website stuff. He actually does our blog. So as far as people checking us out, I guess obviously you can go to the site opencaching.us or CA or MX. They all point to the same place. Sign up, of course. We have our you can find us on Facebook, on Google Plus. We do have our blog, and Jim covers all kinds of stuff, and is not always related directly just to our site. So just if you're interested in geocaching, there's a weekly blog entry, and there'll be things of interest to you, even if you're not getting active on us yet. If you check out a couple of our earliest blogs from March of 2013, I think. People always ask about the OpenCaching, and there was this other OpenCaching site for a while that I don't think is doing much now. And people ask, well, how come there's two? And it goes into a whole history about how there's a guy named Hank who started OpenCaching.com back in 2004 or so, tried to launch a site here in the U.S. to go along with this other caching community that we're now part of. It never really ended up going anywhere. He let that site lapse, and then eventually some GPS folks came along and picked that up and ran with that for a little while. But we're not related to that, and it's getting easier now to not have to. Doesn't seem to come up as often anymore. So hopefully now we're becoming better known as being the OpenCaching site, at least in North America here. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, just sign up and just drop us a note. And so that if you have in trouble or we're definitely happy to talk with folks.
Dudley, you were breaking up a little there. Could you repeat that?
To walk you through our.
Yeah, he's having a little trouble.
Just saying, basically.
There he is. There he is.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I don't know where I dropped there, but basically just saying that folks get to us and get signed up or have whether it's trouble with the registration process or just questions as they're going along getting started, we're really happy to get right with you and help you through any process we have. Like one thing we have, just going back on just actually using the site that is different that gets some people because they're not used to it, is when you submit a cache to us, we'll review it and we do an approval, but it's not published. It goes back into your queue, and as a cache owner, you can publish it when you're ready. You can set a timer. If you know you want it to go live at a certain time, you can check the box and put that in there, and it'll go. Or you can just publish it when you want, and you'll get an email upon publication, and it'll explain that. But sometimes people just miss that out, and so we can have a little site we can see caches that have been approved that aren't published yet. So if we see something sitting there for a little while, we'll just try to contact the owner and say, hey, maybe you didn't notice, or just a reminder that you can publish it when you're ready for it to go. And we'd like to be able to add a little functionality where people, when submit a cache, they can check a box that says, just go ahead and publish it when you review it, and we can do that too.
Yeah.
But so far, that's just, doesn't seem like a lot, but it's, we haven't gotten to that point yet. But
Yeah, that
so
function's
it's a feature.
That function is different enough from the common experience of most geocaching.com users that it takes you a little bit to wrap your head around that. But it is well explained, and as long as you read your emails, you'll figure it out. But actually, I think also that function does have some usefulness to it as well. You're not necessarily at the full mercy of the reviewers for when you want to publish, if you want to publish for a specific event or anything, which takes some of the burden off the reviewers. So,
yeah.
But
and of course, if they mention caching in the Northwest, they get a little extra. No, they don't really.
they get a little extra love.
They get the respect and admiration
Yeah.
from the Northwest crew.
Fantastic. Well, that's been a great interview. I'm assuming the first half was a great interview. The second half certainly was. Folks, we want to remind you once again as we start the tail end of our show here to check in again next week. On July 9th, we're going to share with you some of the interviews and highlights that I captured at the Tri-Cities GeoCoin Challenge event. On July 16th, we're going to have a mystery show with random topics you want to discuss, including how to use favorite points. And July 23rd, we will share with you the fun and hilarity that ensued at the 2015 MVG Summertime Winter Games event with Wits End.
Yay!
That is going to be so much fun. Now, where can we find everyone on this big wide internet that we're on? Dudley Grunt, since you're the guest, we'll start with you.
Okay, Twitter with Dudley Grunt. On Google Plus, you can find me as Dave Self, and also I'd like to invite folks to check out. I have a couple groups I've started, or a group that I've started on Facebook and Google Plus a while back, called Geocachers Unlimited, and basically it's particularly of interest to folks who are open to the idea of other caching sites and stuff, and we'll talk anything caching, but it's a good place we can share information about the whole world of alternative geocaching and other games. So yeah, just hope folks will check us out there.
That's cool. I'm going to go join.
Cool.
What about you, Mr. Land Monkey? Once you get your service provider running, where can you go update things on the internet?
Yes, that's exactly right. Well, folks, you can always find us on Twitter at LandMonkeyGC and Instagram at the same account. We're starting to get a little more active there on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Team Land Monkey, and of course, on the YouTubes, just search Land Monkey.
Wits End, what about you?
Wits End is Wits End. Twitter.com/WitsEnd, Facebook.com/WitsEnd, geocaching.com on Wits End. And I didn't want the bad cop to steal all the thunder, so I now have a mangled URL for you to look up at google.com/plus, but you have to add Wits End US because, well, it's the Googles and they wouldn't give me Wits End. So anyway, google.com/plus Wits End US, and of course phone is 347 Wits End.
Of course, you can find me Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus as Caching NW. So, folks, thanks so much. And for you listeners, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Don't forget that you can be part of the show. Call 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, a chilled beverage, or ask a question any time of the day or night. Of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Also, your support helps keep quality shows coming. If you like this show, please click the PayPal button in the Caching NW website. The show's licensed under a Creative Commons Attributions 3.0 license. Copyright 2015 by Chris O'Connor. Good night, folks.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Oh, you're just monkeying around. Okay, we're clear of the recording.
Okay. Did you play the closing music there? I never heard it on my end.
Yeah,
It's very faint. I could
it's
just
very
make
faint.
that.
Yeah. But it records very nicely here.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
yeah, Land Monkey, it was obvious you weren't wearing any pants.
Nah, sorry about that. However, we do have a reputation to maintain now. So.
Yeah, that's right. We have some decent questions here we didn't get to in the Q&A. Wet Coaster says, that his I assume the event is cross-listed with Munzie for the 4th birthday.
Oh, right, yes, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And
Munzie has their
also-
whole thing going there with the how can caching and Munzie stuff get along, and we actually have Munzie attributes that we have had for a long time. So folks have that incorporated. So we like to play well together too.
Nice.
Exactly. Have I seen, maybe it was from Native Texan, that there was a two-sided thing, Munzie on one side, a bit cache on the other, laminated together. You scan both sides and you can.
That's cool.
Yeah, probably. I have a couple of things similar. I have my Munzies I've put out with some of my bit caches.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Wet Coaster also said on Canada Day,
Yesterday.
yeah, my wife and I found some caches on the Trans-Canada Trail. 3 hams in a row, piped right up. Hey, I found 6 caches on the Trans-Canada Trail as well on Canada Day. I did the ones near Reed Point. Which ones did you do? So,
And Brylang was up in the Fraser Canyon.
yeah, finding gold country caches.
I love those gold country caches.
Don't forget to set it active like I did. Wet Coaster said.
Oh, I think Wet Coaster's talking about. So Wet Coaster is one of the early adopters for OpenCaching North America up here in the Metro Van area, and
Got it.
he's talking about exactly what we were mentioning at the tail end of the show there about you need to set your cache into active status.
Mm-hmm.
Three
Yeah,
hands
that would be
Rose wants to know if there's any iPhone apps that can pull in OpenCache and caches.
Well,
Yes.
anything that can take a pocket query.
Yeah, there are. I was trying to find. I always neglect to look at my list of there, but of course I'm an Android guy, so I'm not as familiar. But we definitely do. There are definitely some that even do the live support. I thought we had a specific link or thing on our page up here on the smartphone apps.
Is CGO on iPhone at all, or is it? No, okay.
No, just Android.
No, see, it was all Android.
No, we don't get the good caching programs on iOS.
For smartphone app, or on the main page on our site, there's a main menu on the left, and the second thing down under Getting Started is phone apps. So I see geocaches for iPhone, geocaching buddy are 2 that are listed here.
Okay.
But yeah, basically any app that can take a query or take a GPX file, should be able to take the file through that method. But then I think that these 2 are supposed to offer live support too.
Yeah, the live API is nice.
Yeah, and I still use my GPS basically anytime I'm doing any kind of planned caching. I know some people. Daryl was talking recently on the show that they don't touch their GPS very often. But if I'm doing a planned thing, I'll still use my GPS and load that. And that's why I love GSAC, because I can download these all the files from the different sites, put them into one GSAC database, filter whatever else I want to do, and then load just that one thing over to my GPS and my new V2, and be good to go and have it all together.
Cool. So I think that 3 hams in a row was happy with that answer from what we see there in the Q&A.
Nice.
I'm behind on clicking. Okay.
That's okay. There's one from one of the folks in the Q&A saying 107 for the Tri-Cities Geocoin Challenge, and I don't know if they're talking about the temperature. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were talking about it when you were offline, and how warm it was there. So
too warm.
111
was the high when I was there.
Do you know the cache name for Bill's stock there?
No.
Not
Bill,
sure.
why don't you tell us your cacher name so we can call you by your cacher name? Because that's what we do here. We use cacher name.
Because that is our habit.
Look
I just
what I got.
Look at you.
See what that is? Can you make
A
that
land
out?
monkey pen.
I have land monkey pens.
Wow. I've got wits end pens, but that's different.
No, not really. Oh wait.
I got land monkey cards, and look what's on the back of the land monkey card.
What?
Look at that. It's a cross posting.
It
Oh,
is
yeah.
cross listing. Yeah.
You cross lister.
Wet Coaster says he wants to get some bit caches ready for Sunday.
All right.
Cool.
That'll be nice. Well, Dave,
Yeah.
I think we've kept you up long enough.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
back there.
All right. No problem. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
It was fun.
And thanks for the opportunity.
Bill's back as Air Rooster.
There we go.
Oh,
Hey,
Air
Air
Rooster.
Rooster.
Of course.
We only know you as Air Rooster.
Isn't that funny? It's yeah, Air Rooster.
Who is
Wait, what's his real name?
I finally got to meet Air Rooster when I was at the Tri-City event. That was awesome.
Is he as cool as his name?
Oh yeah.
It
Okay,
is a pretty cool name.
we're gonna leave it at that and be done with the recording. Good night, all.
Night, folks.
night.
Thanks for hanging in.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Take care. Good night.